The team that has the most comeback victories in the NHL this season outside the New York Rangers are the Colorado Avalanche, and they made this thing as tight as humanly possible. They had a 6-on-4 with a double extra man advantage, having pulled the netminder with under 3 minutes to go in this game. A couple of grade A chances. They can't get that fourth past Jake Ottinger. Dallas gets an empty netter from about 180 feet away, and that's all she wrote. But the Avs, if you can take one thing from this game, and I'm not really a silver lining guy, if you're Dallas and you weren't puckered up by the end of that game thinking that thing was over, after having surrendered a 3-goal lead in Game 1, 4-0 with 16 minutes and change to go in this game, and you were holding on for dear life, that's one thing Jared Bednar's team can take and run back home with.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are very much so on the same page here. I hope we're all on the same page here. People say there are no such thing as moral victories. That's not true, okay? Nothing is black and white. There are very few absolutes in this world. Moral victories absolutely do exist. Now, they are relatively rare. You can't tell me that tonight wasn't one. So this was a game that Dallas was supposed to win. You guys know I'm a betting guy. I looked at the line for this game, and the fact that Dallas were bigger favorites in Game 2 than they were in Game 1, and they lost Game 1, told me that there was a very real possibility that this was going to go the way that we saw last night with Florida evening their series with the Bruins. It's very difficult for the home team to drop both of their home games. I know Dallas did it in their first-round series against Vegas, but typically you're only going to drop one of those if you even drop one of those. So the Avs had the comeback victory down 3-0 in Game 1. The well was a little too dry tonight. It's tough to do that 2 games in a row. Man, if they would have gone 3-goal comeback and then 4-goal comeback, good night. But, Raj, you said it going into the third period. We were talking, and yes, I agreed with you the idea, hey, maybe pull Georgiev because you're down 4-0, this game's over. Why risk injury to him? He's been great. I don't put any of the 4 goals on Alexander Georgiev tonight. I thought dumb penalties cost the Avs. I do think not getting at least 2 minutes for the Jamie Benn hit on Devon Taves did hurt the flow of this game a little bit, maybe hurt the Avs' chances a little bit. They deserved at least 2 minutes there. Let's go ahead and talk about that right now. I mean, are we trying to get hits to the head out of the game or what?
Listen, I don't know if coaching in the American development model has made me soft on these types of plays, these types of hits over the years, but when it happened in real time, I thought it was 5-minute major, game misconduct, and possible subsequent discipline by the league afterwards. They go and they review it as they do all major penalties to make sure that it was actually something that happened, and they took it off the board completely. They didn't downgrade it from a 5 to a 2, which I thought they should have done, right? I thought this was direct head contact. I thought this was Jamie Benn seeing Devon Taves with his head down, leaving his feet, and then targeting the head. He hits him in the shoulder. It is a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. Taves' head is down, therefore making him defenseless, which is where I have the issue, right? I still think it's a charge. It should have been a 2-minute penalty. He does leave his feet. Does he leave his feet at the initial point of contact? No, but as soon as he pushes through that shoulder, both feet leave the ice, and then he lands back on. For me, that's the definition of charging. It should have been a 2-minute charging penalty. It should not have been a 5-minute major or a game misconduct. In real time, it looked incredibly violent. It was a violent hit. I think it changed a lot of the game. Jamie Benn will be mercilessly booed on Saturday night. So if you wanted a villain, right? It's not Matt Duchene, right? People boo Matt Duchene when he has the puck in Colorado. I don't know why. I've never understood it. He never really screwed the Avs over. You can actually thank Matt Duchene for winning a Stanley Cup championship in 2022.
Well, it's fun to do.
It is. I guess it's fun to do. He's not the guy you should boo. Jamie Benn is going to be. He's going to be hounded by Avs fans on Saturday. Do I think it was as dirty of a hit as I did in the moment? No. But I still believe it's charging right now, and I always will believe it's charging.
It goes from a 4-0 game to a 4-3 game, and now all of a sudden you just look back on it, and if they had gotten at least 2, and it should have been at least 2 for charging, Maybe they score there. Maybe this is 4-4 overtime. In the NFL, and I know it's a different sport, but it's just become when you blow a dude up, there's the flag. It's just the way it is because they're just trying to get those hits out of the game. So you can say, oh, well, what do you want Jamie Benn to do then? Because big hits have historically been a part of hockey and the puck was there. You just can't blow a guy's head up. Get lower. I guess if you're Jamie Benn, get lower.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Lead with the butt. I mean, you cannot. Are we trying to protect these players' heads or not? That is what it comes down to.
Right. That was my issue with the hit, is that I know for a fact the National Hockey League is trying to remove that hit from the game for better or for worse, right? I know that for me, the game has gotten softer. It's gotten way more skilled, way faster. And again, maybe it's been coaching for me for the past 10 years in the American development model where this type of hit, like had one of my U18 players made this hit this past year, that kid is gone for the game and suspended for the next one. So maybe that's the reaction that I gave earlier. And I know it's a completely different game. Tier 1 to the National Hockey League, completely different. It's not even in the same stratosphere that we're talking about. So maybe that's where my mindset has been altered. But what I do know is that the National Hockey League is trying to remove hits like that from the game. They want those injuries to be gone. They want the head injuries and the post-concussive symptoms to be gone as well. That's a type of hit that I look at that in the regular season, is that downgraded? I don't know.
The 303-641 texting in on the Shop Mazda text line. Exactly how did it go from 5 minutes to not even a minor? I mean, that is – how do you call it a major on the ice and then review it in slow motion where it looks brutal in live action?
And I think the 596 has it hit on the head too, is if the hit on Taves was made by Nazem Kadri,
yes,
Naz is gone for the postseason.
Didn't he lay one of those in the Blue Series?
Really? Well, the Justin Falk one was a little bit different. He did get Falk square in the head. But I still think Falk was a defensive player in that situation, and Kadri went out of his way to make the hit, right? It's a good forechecking play from Benn, but Taves' head is down, and there is a little bit of onus on the player to make sure that your head is up in all situations. But he's tied up with, I believe, Tyler Seguin behind the net.
Because when he takes the hit, we're seeing a replay right there real quickly. I mean, it's like you're shooting like a quarter down a chute.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's a body right there, so he became like a Plinko ball, and the Price is Right did Devon Taves.
I don't know if that thing would have been called back in the regular season. Would it have been reversed if it was anyone but Jamie Benn, right? Like Jamie Benn, as we talk about the game changing, he's from a different time in the NHL.
Sure.
Right? Like, Jamie won he won an MVP, yeah, with 87 points, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He won his MVP back in the 20-aughts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how long he's been in the league. The league has changed drastically since then. So if this was a 23, 24-year-old player who has only known the National Hockey League as we know it today, which is removing high hits, removing violent collisions like that while still keeping it a violent game, would this have been reversed? I don't know. What I do know about this game is that they took that, and Josh Manson went after him in the third period constantly, put him into the bench, and rang Jamie Benn's bell without going after his head, without leaving his feet. And I think that hit was something that sparked the Avs. They realized that, like, Josh is going after our guy. He's defending Devon Taves. They start coming out. They score 3 goals, get this thing to within 1. And despite losing, you almost feel as if you have momentum.
Oh, absolutely. So, you know, what you were saying is the third period started was just make it close. I believe the word you used was Dallas would get puckered, right? And not even even if they didn't complete the comeback, but they get in Dallas's head again. Came back down 3-0, winning overtime in game 1. Even just, to make it 4-3 tonight, it has to be in Dallas's head that you have to play a full 60 against the Avs. The comeback is very much so always open. So even though the comeback was not completed tonight, a message was still sent. Boy, what a fun third period and particularly final 4 or so minutes of that game. It was a blast to watch here at the Parker Garage. Like, that's what we love about hockey, the close chances. Georgiev's pulled. We get a power play. We get opportunities at a 6-on-4. The Avs had their looks. I mean, there were stand-up and so-close type moments. It was so fun to watch.
It's been a delightful 2 games. The Avs, though, do accomplish road mission number 1. And that's get a win. They come back now. It's a 5-game series, and the best home team in the National Hockey League now owns home ice advantage over the next 5 games. Can they hold serve at Ball Arena? That starts Saturday night late, 8 p.m. Mountain start, 7 p.m. extended pregame show from Ball Point at Ball Arena with Mark Bertinoli, Mark Springer, myself will be out there live doing that whole show that evening. Avalanche Hockey and the Altitude Radio Network is brought to you by Mountain High Appliance. Visit the clearance center for new discounted or scratch and dented appliances up to 60% off at mountainhighappliance.com. We're live from Parker Garage on Main Street thanks to our friends at Templeton Fortitude Bourbon. We'll take a quick timeout, come back on the other side, start breaking this game down, and tell you what else happened around the National Hockey League tonight. There was a barn burner in Carolina, and the Hurricanes are in trouble.
Jokic hands it off to Holiday. Back over to Jokic. Joker gets the bonus hook shot. Good! Joker shoves Markkanen out of the way. Floater. Got it! Guarded by Anthony Davis. Head fake layup. Got it! And foul! Let's go!
Congratulating Nikola Jokic on his 3rd NBA Most Valuable Player Award. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Update your appliances today and save big at Mountain High Appliances Clearance Center. I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. Get unbelievable prices on refrigerators, dishwashers, washers and dryers, ranges, and more on popular brands from KitchenAid, JennAir, Bosch, Sub-Zero Wolf, and many more. Whether you're looking for new, in a box, discontinued, or scratch and dent, our Clearance Center has it all. Visit us today in Denver or online at mountainhighappliance.com.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
There is a reason so many homeowners across the Front Range continue putting their trust in Plumbline Services. For 25 years and counting, Plumbline has been here, partnering with great brands like Carrier to make our lives easier. With dedicated service from Castle Rock to Fort Collins and plumb crazy pricing on plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, and drain cleaning, Plumbline Services is here for you. Plumbline and Carrier, turn to the experts. Schedule your service online at plumblineservices.com. Plumbline Services. Service at home, servants at heart.
The Altitude Authentics team store is the place to go for the best selection of Colorado Avalanche gear.
One-timer from Dave. He scores! It's a taser from Taser!
From hats and t-shirts to your favorite players' jerseys and more, Authentics has the best gear at the best prices.
Saved by Georgiev! That's as good as a glove save gets.
Can't get to Ball Arena? Check out AltitudeAuthentics.com for 24-hour shopping.
Hey Colorado, at Phil Long Ford of Denver's Commercial Vehicle Center, we take your business further. With Colorado's largest selection of work-ready trucks, flatbeds, service bodies, cargo vans, and passenger vans, our commercial experts are here to help you every step of the way. We'll find the perfect vehicle for all your business needs. That's why Colorado businesses drive Phil Long Ford of Denver. Go online at phillongdenver.com or come see us at 7977 West Tufts off Wadsworth, just south of Hampton.
Hey Colorado, it's Christopher Dempsey. You've got the Avalanche and Stars Game 2 on your radio and on the Altitude Sports Radio app. Coming up tomorrow, join Coach Mike Sanford and me. We'll break down tonight's game and we'll talk about what's next for the Avs. And here it comes, Nuggets and Timberwolves Game 3. What's that going to look like? We'll get into it. Dempsey and Company, 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Dempsey and Company, weekdays 10 to noon. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Tomorrow, it's the Nuggets and T-Wolves Game 3, and you're invited to the Altitude Sports Radio viewing party at Stoney's Bar and Grill on Lincoln.
Man, people are fired up around here.
Join the party and meet D-Mac, who'll be handing out a bunch of cool Nuggets prizes. Birdo will be broadcasting live starting at 6. Then, after the game, stay for the live broadcast of In the Paint with Nate Kreckman. The fun starts tomorrow at 6. The Nuggets viewing party at Stoney's on Lincoln, presented by White Claw and Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Sports talk for sports fans.
Eat my words.
Men, this is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk to you about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction, and if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low testosterone could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back the flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
You're Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. Live from Parker Garage on Main Street in Parker. With thanks to Templeton Fortitude Bourbon on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Here's Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer.
Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. Make sure you guys get on out there to Safeway. Mother's Day is coming up in just a couple of days on Sunday. Make sure you can get her fresh cut flowers and chocolate-covered strawberries, all of her favorites for brunch on Sunday morning, like my wife and I are doing. You can get it at Safeway. You can also go to altitudesportsradio.com/mom and register for a chance to win a $50 gift card to Safeway. You'll also have an opportunity tomorrow all day on air. Listen for the keyword, text in at 303-504-0925 to win that same amount of money to our friends at Safeway. It's your one-stop shop for Mother's Day. We are down here live at Parker Garage off Main Street in Parker, thanks to our friends at Templeton Distillery. We're out here courtesy of their brand new Fortitude Bourbon. It was delicious. We had these Midnight McKinnons, which were essentially like a port wine barrel-aged old-fashioned. Cole's going to enjoy one once we get off here tonight. It's been wonderful. So
Once
thank
we
you
get
to all
off.
of our friends.
Once we get off.
He's halfway through one right now. Throwing him under the bus, our good friend Cole
Cole's
Smith,
doing a great job.
engineer extraordinaire. 303-504-0925 is where you can reach us this evening. Avs fall 5-3 in Game 2 of the semifinals in the Western Conference. The Altitude Radio Network broadcast live from the Backus and Schenker studios. If you've been injured in a serious car accident, you want to hire a law firm with winning results, that's Backus and Schenker. Their passion is justice. Hopefully Jamie Benn will get a little bit of justice coming up on Saturday night. I want to go to some positives this evening. I know they lost. I know they were down 4-0, but Alexander Georgiev was phenomenal from the start tonight. He has to stop a breakaway under a minute into this game. He stops a turnaround shot from Mason Marchment, who comes back into the lineup for Dallas. Nice big body for them in the first period. Nearly had to stop a breakaway from Joe Pavelski, but he was Johnny on the spot all evening long. I don't think he can do anything about any one of the goals that go in on him tonight. There was a 2 tip shots. There was a backdoor tap in and a one-timer from Rupe Hintz. There was a bounce in front of the net that finds Tyler Seguin right in the middle of the slot with no one on him, and Sagan's going to score that thing. I can't put anything on Georgiev tonight, Spring.
No, not at all. I mean, the opening goal, the power play goal from Heiskanen, Georgiev makes at least one initial save where he's very firm. Like, the positioning is so much better. The fluidity in his movement is so much better, and he was calm, he was firm on this shot that hit him right in the chest. He didn't flinch at all. He stayed completely stationary. He wasn't eating the puck at all. He wasn't retreating. The puck was not jumping up on him. He was firm. He made the save, but a rebound happens, okay? And that puck is bouncing around there in the slot, and it just becomes a 50-50 play at that point. Can an Avs penalty killer get a stick on that and clear it out? That didn't happen. And it's nice little tic-tac-toe passing between Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson. Credit to Miro Heiskanen. The defenseman activates offensively, cuts down in an offensive position, and Hintz finds him. And Georgiev, I mean, you commented as we were watching it live, he damn near gloves that thing.
Damn near got there.
Look, there's nothing he can do there. And I think, you can look at the other 3 goals as well. One of them is a shorthanded goal. Man, I mean, that kind of sucks. That's the game-winning goal is a shorthanded goal. And that was a power play at that time when the Avs were down 3-0. I'm saying this is a must-score power play. Wrong team. I didn't mean that team. This was a must-score power play for the Avs, not for the Stars. So that is unfortunate. But other positives, man. Yoel Kiviranta scoring against his former team to get them back in it. How about the combination of Yakov Trenin, Andrew Cogliano, and Brandon Duhaime with some good active sticks to steal a puck, and now the breakout the other way. Cogliano finds Duhaime. It was really Trenin who makes that happen. And then give me the Valeri Nichushkin stat, Raj, because what a postseason he continues to have.
He's remarkable right now and gets in front of the net. He now has 8 goals, 1 assist in 7 games played so far in the postseason. By scoring tonight, he is now just the second player in National Hockey League history to score a goal in 7 consecutive games to start a postseason run. He joins Pat LaFontaine, who did it in 7 straight games in 1992 with the Buffalo Sabres. If he scores on Saturday night, he will own the longest postseason goal streak to start a playoff run in NHL history. He is everything to this team.
I mean, what a record. To tie that record tonight is incredible. Pat LaFontaine, are you kidding me?
That's a hell of a player.
Valeri Nichushkin is in that company. That is remarkable to score in your first 7 playoff games of a playoff run. Stars are his former team. Now they come home. 8's possible. 8's very possible.
The thing I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for the Nathan MacKinnon breakout game. Because we haven't seen it yet, right? Like, he's been fine. He gets held off the score sheet for the first time this postseason. Mikko Rantanen gets held off the score sheet for the first time this postseason. Cale Makar gets held off of the score sheet for the first time this postseason, right? So you were within a goal after being down 4-0 on the road against a very good Dallas team that won the Central Division, arguably the best division in hockey this year. And you did that with 0 combined points from guys who are making, off the top of my head, $29 million combined, 0 points from those guys. All you have to do is go back to last year in Seattle, right? Who was scoring for this team? It was only Nate and Mikko. That's all it was. And that's the reason why they lost to Seattle, right? Nichushkin not in the lineup, Makar suspended, but nobody else could score. You're getting contributions from Yoel Kiviranta. You're getting contributions from Brandon Duhaime. You're getting an overtime goal from Miles Wood. What is happening right now? Once everything starts to come together, I'm still very confident that this team is going to win this series in 6. I put the bet down at plus 500 before the series started. I'm still immensely confident in it.
I did find it interesting how in the second period, Bednar took Nichushkin off the top line and mixed in Zach Parise for a shift or two with MacKinnon and Rantanen. Mixed Arturi Lehkonen in with MacKinnon and Rantanen for more than a couple of shifts. I'm not sure to take that as a demotion from Nichushkin, because, he's scored in 7 straight games. He's been so good. I think not having Jonathan Drouin, there is a sense of spreading the wealth. They've always tried that to split MacKinnon and Rantanen up. That rarely works. You want to keep those two together. Nichushkin is the one you can float when you're down 1-0, when you're down 2-0, and maybe you just want to give him a little bit of a different look. Let's take Valeri Nichushkin. We'll make sure to keep Rantanen and MacKinnon together, but maybe put him down with Middlestad and Lehkonen or Parise, then put Lehkonen or Parise up with Nate and Mikko. I think it was just trying to find a little bit of a spark, and nothing to do with the play of Valeri Nichushkin.
No, I think that it is far more it's a feather in the cap for Nichushkin. It's like, hey, the second line needs to start going. We need you to go down there and do that for us. It's not we're kicking off the top line. Like, it's all about Val being the stick that stirs the drink right now. I also think it's a little bit of foresight from Bednar, knowing that he had Jonathan Drouin back on the ice today at morning skate. he wasn't going to play tonight, but he might be an option for Game 3 on Saturday. He certainly will be an option for this team on Monday evening for Game 4. I think that might have been like, all right, so if we move Val down, Parise's now a placeholder on that top line. Parise, for all intents and purposes, in that situation, is now Jonathan Drouin. So how does the second line look with Val down there, knowing that we're going to slot Drouin alongside McKinnon and Rantanen? I think that's what that was tonight. Additionally, trying to spark the offense. We know how Jared Bednar likes to put the team and the lines in the blender, but this was Val Nichushkin's a stud. He's playing better than almost anyone in the postseason right now. Yeah. Let's see what he can do with anyone else.
And I thought the second line was fine either way. I mean, there was a sequence there with Mittelstadt and Lehkonen in the middle portions of this game where Mittelstadt's controlling a puck, entering the O-zone on the right side, and he flicked a nice little sauce pass to the left to Lehkonen that Ottinger makes a great save on, and then Lehkonen ends up, as the Avs are able to keep that puck in the zone. Dallas almost cleared it out, but they're able to keep it in. Lehkonen gets another great look on the right side. Ottinger stepped up tonight. He was good until he wasn't late, but he was very good, Jake Ottinger, for the first two periods.
He made some unbelievable saves in the first period.
Yeah.
Unbelievable saves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Dallas has a little bit of an advantage, and I don't even think it was that much of an advantage tonight because Georgiev was really good. He was solid, but Ottinger made some 10 bell saves. 10 bell saves on Nichushkin backdoor on his backhand. If Nichushkin's on his forehand on the power play there, the Avs tie the game up. He was great. Otter was great. He was as advertised. There's a reason why you look at him and you look at the next international cycle of best on best play where the National Hockey League is expected to go to the Olympics in a couple of years. Jake Ottinger and Connor Hellebuck are 1A and 1B right now in terms of the netminders for Team USA, which is the strongest netminding country outside of Russia right now. Ottinger showed why he's in that conversation.
We know the upside he has.
Yes.
We talked about it all season, but he can be streaky. And then he allows 3 goals in the third period. One of them is in an empty net situation, so it's a little difficult. And Nichushkin is great net front, so you can't, I say he allows 3 goals. That's a tough one. When the Avs are swarming and they have an extra attacker and their backs are against the wall in the waning minutes. But he can look great, and then he can look a little leaky. That was the first 2 periods compared to the third period.
Avs were damn near being the first team in National Hockey League history to post back-to-back 3-goal comeback wins in the playoffs. They end up falling 5-3 with an empty netter in Dallas. They'll return home on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. pregame right here on Denver's exclusive home for Avs hockey. It's Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, live from Parker Garage with Templeton Fortitude Bourbon. We'll take one more time out, come back on the other side, tell you what happened in the Rangers-Carolina game, and get some Bet the Pipes on the other side and send you guys off to bed.
Tomorrow, it's the Nuggets and T-Wolves Game 3, and you're invited to the Altitude Sports Radio viewing party at Stoney's Bar and Grill on Lincoln.
Man, people are fired up around here.
Join the party and meet D-Mac, who'll be handing out a bunch of cool Nuggets prizes. Birdo will be broadcasting live starting at 6. Then, after the game, stay for the live broadcast of In the Paint with Nate Kreckman. The fun starts tomorrow at 6. The Nuggets viewing party at Stoney's on Lincoln, presented by White Claw and Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Kapler Mechanical wants to know, are you ready to save $1,800 a year by making the switch to whole home electrification? Kapler Mechanical is your one-stop shop for heat pump air conditioners, water heaters, electric vehicle charging right there in your garage, battery backups, and all the way to solar. Tax credits and rebates are available. Kapler Mechanical, family owned and operated, and your one-stop shop for whole home electrification. Visit KaplerMechanical.com.
This is Ryan Kapler. That's KAPPLER mechanical.com.
The Altitude Authentics team store is the place to go for the best selection of Colorado Avalanche gear.
One-timer from Taves. He scores! It's a taser from Taser!
From hats and t-shirts to your favorite players' jerseys and more, Authentics has the best gear at the best prices.
Saved by Georgiev! That's That's as good as a glove save gets.
Can't get to Ball Arena? Check out AltitudeAuthentics.com for 24-hour shopping.
I got a nightmare phone call that no parent wants to receive.
Someone hit me going 60 miles an hour.
Dr. Ramos came highly recommended. When I showed him the x-rays, he immediately knew exactly what was wrong.
We've had a tremendous experience with Ramos Law. Really, I could not be happier.
Having the car accident was an accident. Finding Ramos Law was no accident.
Injured in a car accident? Ramos Law can help. RamosLaw.com.
Tomorrow, it's the Nuggets and T-Wolves Game 3, and you're invited to the Altitude Sports Radio viewing party at Stoney's Bar and Grill on Lincoln.
Man, people are fired up around here.
Join the party and meet D-Mac, who'll be handing out a bunch of cool Nuggets prizes. Birdo will be broadcasting live starting at 6. Then, after the game, stay for the live broadcast of In the Paint with Nate Kreckman. The fun starts tomorrow at 6. The Nuggets viewing party at Stoney's on Lincoln, presented by White Claw and Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Jokic hands it off to Holiday. Back over to Jokic. Joker against Sabonis. Hook shot. Good! Joker shoves Markkanen out of the way. Floater. Got it! Guarded by Anthony Davis. Head fake. Layup. Got it! And foul! Let's go!
Congratulating Nikola Jokic on his 3rd NBA Most Valuable Player Award. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Sports talk for sports fans. Altitude Sports Radio.
Just score. What if I told you that you could get the same delicious beef that top chefs at fine restaurants choose? You'd be all over that like I am. And now, yeah, you can be too. Mark Mosier here for Centennial Cuts. Centennial Cuts is a Colorado company in the cattle business for generations, and they produce premium, high-quality beef, sustainably raised and finished on locally grown grains for that perfect marbling and texture. And the best part, it's delivered right to your door. So check out their website at centennialcuts.com and see what I'm talking about. Or better yet, head to Velvet Cellar or A5 Steakhouse close to Ball Arena and try their outstanding beef for yourself. Plus, you've got kiosks and mercantiles all over that carry their famous beef jerky. You can find those on their website. Remember, it's centennialcuts.com for the most delicious and wholesome beef you've ever tasted. You'll be glad you did, and you'll be proud to serve it to your family and guests. Trust me, you won't go back. Centennial Cuts.
I've always been a champion of Man Therapy, mental health for men, launched right here in Denver. Man Therapy takes a humorous and real approach to therapy. Every day, thousands of men and their loved ones turn to Man Therapy for information, for resources, tools. And now Man Therapy has launched the Man Therapist's Provider Directory, where men can find independent counselors who are passionate about working with men. If you're looking to find a therapist, or if you're a therapist looking to grow your practice, check out mantherapy.org.
You're Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. Live from Parker Garage on Main Street in Parker, with thanks to Templeton Fortitude Bourbon on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Here's Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 as we wrap things up here from Parker Garage on Main Street. Thanks to our friends at Templeton Distillery with their brand new Templeton Fortitude Bourbon. We're also trying their Midnight Rye, little, I believe it's port wine aged, barrel aged whiskey. Had some, they were calling it the Midnight McKinnon. Little old-fashioned there. It was delicious. Parker Garage is phenomenal. Great people here. Great atmosphere. We were turning people away from like 6 people on. It was so, or 6 p.m. on. It was so packed. We gave away a Nathan McKinnon signed hockey stick, a signed jersey, 4 signed photos. We're going to be continuing to do this. We're going to have a Nuggets watch party tomorrow night at Stoney's with D-Mac and Nate Kreckman. So get your butts on out there. You can have the opportunity to win more signed gear, signed basketballs, signed photos, signed Nuggets jerseys. Hopefully they can crawl out of their 2-0 hole that they dug for themselves here in the Mile High City. And then Spring and I will be back out on location next week up in Arvada at Hofbrau for Game 5, right? Because we are now guaranteed a Game 5. We'll be out on location giving out a bunch of stuff. We cannot wait to see you guys there. We are brought to you by Safeway this evening. Again, Mother's Day, Sunday, Make sure you guys get there, get her flowers, get her chocolate-covered strawberries, get some pancake mix, some Bisquick, some eggs. Make your mother breakfast. Make her proud. Make her happy. You can only do it at Safeway. Mark Springer, final thoughts on tonight's 5-3 loss.
My final thought is this. One more thing on the Jamie Benn hit on Devon Toews. Say what you want about it. We've already said what we needed to say about the hit itself, okay? Ross Colton was on the Kreckman and Lindahl show last Friday, and Andy Lindahl asked him about the physicality of the Avs, specifically responding to physical play against them, cheap play against them. And Ross said, I'm going to paraphrase him here, he said that they have guys on the team who are not afraid to fight, to actually fight back. But he made it clear to say they prefer to fight back with their play, to respond with their play on the ice. And I think they did a lot of that tonight. And now they're coming home, and they're going to feed off the home crowd. Like you said, they're going to boo Jamie Benn every time he touches the puck. And I don't think the Avs, and you mentioned as well, Raj, that Josh Manson was
patrolling.
Yeah, he that's a good word. He was patrolling Jamie Benn. I'm sure there will be more of that. I don't expect gloves to drop, though. I expect the Avs to do what Ross Colton said that this team does, and that is do it with their play. Let's keep in mind who Jamie Benn hit. He hit Devon Toews. Devon Toews is one of the truest leaders of this team. We will see if that ends up being something that Dallas didn't want to quite awaken. That's really any Avs player, but there are levels to this thing, and man, you just took Devon Toews out for a good 20 minutes of play. You damn near concussed him. Okay, I was scary to see Devon Toews.
I was shocked he came back.
Yeah, laying on the ice like that. The Avs will remember that, and like Ross Colton said, they primarily do it through their play.
All right, one other game tonight. The Rangers 3-2 overtime victory on the road against the Carolina Hurricanes. They get outshot again. Carolina is a shot-producing machine so far in this series. They cannot find the back of the net. 3-2 is the final in overtime. Carolina puts 47 shots on net at home. Being down 2-0, they lost both of these things at MSG. They went up early, halfway through the first, on a Jake Gensel tip. He scores his fourth goal of the postseason, but Chris Kreider gets his fourth on a shorthanded opportunity, a little backhand tip from Mika Zibanejad to tie this thing up just a minute and a half later, 12 and a half minutes into the second period, and then in the third, Alexi Lafreniere, who continues to live up to the number one overall pick billing, puts the Rangers up 2-1. Andrei Svechnikov would tie that thing up just over 12 minutes after that, but Artemi Panarin, the one thing I've always said about the Carolina Hurricanes, they don't have the guy. When you need someone to score a big-time goal, they need to have a superstar. You know what Artemi Panarin is? He's a bona fide superstar, bona fide playoff performer, and he wins the thing for the Rangers 3-2, and now the Hurricanes are toast.
And they have a Mika Zibanejad. I was peeking at this game when I was watching it in the studios while you guys got out here early to the Parker Garage, and Zibanejad picked up a point, and he has 12 points through the Rangers' first 7 playoff games, which put him in company in Rangers history with players like Brian Leetch.
Wow.
Was on that list. I think Phil Esposito was on that list. There were some names on that list. So you got a Panarin, you got a Zibanejad. They really are. Those are great players.
Messier, Leach, Ronnie Duguay, Adam Fox, Alexei Kovalev.
Okay. So I was wrong there. But either way,
wrong. Those are stellar players.
As far, but he's in some great company. And how about Igor Shesterkin? You know, you're saving 45 of 47. He was up and down in the regular season, but we know how good he can be. He's coming on at the right time. I really am shocked that New York is up 3-0 in this series, though.
I am too. Igor Shesterkin, just the 10th goaltender in the history of the National Hockey League to record a postseason opening win streak of 7 or more games, and he's the first since future Hall of Famer Marc-Andre Fleury to do it in 2008 when the Penguins went on to win their first of 3 Stanley Cup championships in the Sidney Crosby era. Igor Shesterkin, a guy who's been up and down since his Vezina Trophy season 3 years ago, he's coming into form, and that should scare the crap out of the East.
Shesterkin Georgiev, it's very much so alive in the Stanley Cup Finals, but I'll take any matchup coming out of the East.
All right, tomorrow's Spring. Bet the pipes as we get you guys out of here and send you off to bed late on a Thursday evening. The Florida Panthers on the road at the Boston Bruins. They got a big-time win in Game 2. This thing was ugly at the end, fight after fight after fight. We got a Matthew Tkachuk and David Pastrnak fight at the end of that game after the Panthers blew up the Bruins 6-1. Panthers are minus 125 road favorites in that game. The over-under is set at 5.5. The over hits at even. Edmonton and Vancouver's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Mountain. Oilers are minus 125 road favorites. The lines are exactly the same. However, the Oilers and Canucks game is a 6.5 over, not a 5.5 over.
Man, my last bet the pipes pick was the Oilers, minus 140, but I think it was actually minus 130 when I ended up looking at the app shortly after the show. They were up 4-1 in that game. The road favorite, lower-seeded Oilers were up 4-1, and they were doing what they were supposed to do based on the betting line, and then they oiled. Not even the betting line can overcome a good oiling. No way. I'm staying away. No, I'm staying away. I'll go with the Florida Panthers minus 125. Look, if you made me bet this game, I would go back to Edmonton because it would be classic me to jump off the Oilers train, get on the Canucks, and then Edmonton wins. But look, you had Matthew Tkachuk fighting David Pastrnak. Pasta's a great player, but he's not as physical as Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk will get in your face. I think the Panthers made a statement in that game. They're the more physical team. The road favorites in Boston. Give me Florida minus 125.
Minus 125 is the pick for Mark Springer. I'm going to go with the 3-way draw on the money line in that game. We've had 2 blowouts. Game 1 was a Boston blowout. Game 2 was a Florida blowout. We are due for a rock'em sock'em low-scoring affair in Boston between these two teams. Give me the 3-way money line draw at plus 280. I still think Florida's going to win this thing on the road, so if you're feeling frisky, take Florida minus 125 on the money line, parlay that thing with the plus 280 on the 3-way, and I bet you'll be somewhere up in the 470s, maybe even pushing into the 500s there on that parlay. Those are your picks for the Bet the Pipes, and that'll do it for us live at Parker Garage on Main Street. Thanks to our friends at Templeton Distillery and Fortitude Bourbon. For Cole Smith, for Jordan Berg, for Mark Springer, the Radio Machine, I'm Alex Ryanemi. Go to bed. Avs lose 5-3. The next time you'll hear our voices will be Saturday evening as the Avs take on the Stars in Game 3. 8 p.m. puck drop, 7 p.m. pregame show live from Ballpoint. We'll have a live post-game show from Ballpoint that evening as well at about 11 p.m. Avs fall. They'll be back home on Saturday. The best home team in the NHL is back in a couple of days. Tune in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Mother's Day is Sunday. There's a reminder for you there, Hotshot. Don't forget Mom. And Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 is helping you take care of Mom.
Man, that is clutch, bro.
How about a $250 shopping spree from Safeway?
Wow.
Treat Mom to all of her brunch favorites. And don't forget the flowers.
Oh, be still my heart.
Enter to win now at AltitudeSportsRadio.com.
You said you could install that ceiling fan